Hi everyone, it's Marie here from Skeinz. I just went to go and mute the microphone on Ethan. He goes, and just as I hear him say, "But you're free to be you." That's brilliant. I'm going to jump to Ethan and Deb just in a minute down at Outlaw HQ in Christchurch. But I just wanted to say welcome and good morning to everybody. You're with the Skeinz Diaries. Today's episode 12. I'm, of course, Marie here at Skeinz. And I'm going to jump him up because he's right there in his absolute gorgeousness. I have, here we go, 3, 2, 1, and boom, there he is.
Morning.
Wonderful. Good morning. Ethan Barclay-Ennew from Outlaw HQ, and you're in Outlaw HQ.
We're back in the shop. We're back open our full hours. Woo!
That is so exciting. And of course, I've been one of the few that's been seeing a lot of the behind the scenes and the photos. And that's why I wanted to do this today, because it is looking seriously amazeballs down there. And I thought, well, we've got to do a walkthrough. You open officially at midday today. So I thought we'd give everybody a sneaky peek of what's going on. So take it away, my friend. Show us all the goodness that's happening down at HQ.
If anyone's visited us before, we have always had a great big palette wall behind me here with our big mirror featured on it. And we've always done other stuff, but now, far, far behind me in the back, behind our power pole, we have a fabulous new way of displaying our yarn. So I'm going to save that a little bit for last. I'm going to take you on a little tour of some of the other things that we've changed around, some of the new stuff we've got in shop. And my face will pop in and out of camera because I'm going to flip the camera back and forth to give you the best angles, okay? So we have kicked off our grand reopening with some beautiful flowers from our great friend Sally, who is sitting next door with our knitting group. And we've put together a little trio of some of the most popular patterns from our good friend Libby Johnson, Truly Myrtle. Is we've made a little feature up here featuring our Kelmscott colorway, of course, that beautiful green that you see there. And as we come over here, we've got our big, beautiful reclaimed countertop that you're all familiar with. It now has a fresh glass top so we can keep it clear. There's a little star blanket action in the background. Lots of fun jewel stuff and other things. A wild Deb loose in the shop. What? She's willingly on camera for more than 5 seconds. Brace yourselves. We have a beautiful new display for all of our accessories. So
that looks so good.
Our great friends down at Frontal Lobe have done this full fit out for us. We absolutely love it. It's all done with different reclaimed woods and reused plywood and stuff like that. It's absolutely fantastic. We've got our display of the Jubbly Umph pins, some of the great pencils from Emma Makes, which are awesome. If you were with us at Unwind and had the pleasure of seeing us there, we had a bunch of these there. And the first little preview of something new to the shop, we have some beautiful yarns from Katrine at Yarn Floozy. These are her self-striping sock balls. They come in a glitter.
Oh.
I know, right? And in a beautiful mohair blended sock, so to be super durable but incredibly soft. And what this genius woman has done is all of the ones that have the little bit of sparkle to them that you might catch there on camera are actually a grayed out version of the ones on the more luscious kid mohair base. So that means that you could mix and match them, the grayscale versions dyed over gray and the regular full tone color ones together to get a softer look in the self-striping as well. So,
very clever. Gorgeous.
Up there. Now, we do have some other fun stuff. So, as you may or may not know, Marie, Deb and I are both pretty big Stephen West fans.
Really?
Shocker! Surprise. Everyone, I know you can't believe it. So what we've done to kick off coming back is to set up a little Stephen West shawl display with a bunch of his beautiful patterns. So we've got a speckle and pop done in 2 colors instead of in the multicolor version to really show off the patterning and the brioche and the striping that goes on with those eyelets.
I have to admit, I like that speckle and pop just in 2 colors.
Oh, it is so much more dramatic, and it
isn't
really
it
off the work that you put into it. There are beautiful things to be done with fades, but the speckle and pop really shines in two colors of high contrast.
Oh, and that looks like it's in Bohemia Outlaw
It
Sport.
is Outlaw Sport. It's
Yeah.
an Erebus and Absinthe, a match made in
Oh,
heaven. A
gorgeous.
combination that I like to refer to as goth juice. Then, tying in that same color span, we have the absolutely wonderful Exploration Station, a classic Stephen West pattern, kind of the beginning of his shawls, if you will, for those great mystery shawls that were built in pieces with all those features that you and I love, the short row wedges.
And that yarn over short
Yeah,
row, yeah.
just spectacular. We also have those as individual patterns, and we have the Shawl Evolutions book. And if you'll notice, what is he wearing? Do, do, do. And we
Exactly.
didn't even plan it, it just happened by accident. Then we have, of course, my Westfjord Wanderer, also done up in the Bohemia Sport. A couple kilos of glorious squishiness for you to settle on your shoulders if you come in for a visit. And shawl book number 2, Shawl Evolution, which just happens to feature the Westfjord Wanderer on the cover. Ooh, ooh. No planning went into this whatsoever. It so happens that as we were walking around looking at different things, these are the ones that popped out to us. Now, we do have a bunch of other Stephen West single patterns available, so come in and check them out. Deb is partway through a Penguono, so you'll be able to try on a Penguono sample in real life.
How's that going? Because I was impressed at how much progress she'd made on that.
It is going by so fast, I almost can't believe it.
Yeah.
She is at the shoulders already. Already. It's been roughly 2 weeks of working on it, if I remember correctly. We're calling it 2 weeks. Yeah, well, we have been a little busy for the last week, so all of our knitting has been on a little hiatus, and I will give people a preview of some of the stuff I've been working on before we go, of course.
Oh, of course. Yes, I've already had somebody ask about your sweater, so we'll get to that once we finished our work round.
Yes, we're through a bone already. Now, we do have some of the beautiful, gorgeous queen bee remaining over here in our little display with a great throw. And some of the colors that are still available, which are not many, so get your mitts on them. They're here in shop, but we do have highlight and brass and define.
Yes, which are the
our
3 we've got as well, and they're selling like hotcakes for us too. So,
yeah, if you want queen bee, get on it.
And also too, once they've all sold out, once those colours have gone, that's it, because that was the last of the batch. So you do need to make sure that you get that. Even if you've had something in a queue for stash, you need to make sure either you pop into HQ or with us online and snap those up, because once it's gone, it's gone.
And it is roughly 8 skeins to do a great lap rug like this.
Okay,
this is one of the Outlaw patterns. 9? It's 9 skeins, everyone. I just lied to you. So order 10 so that you can make tassels, because if not, you'll regret it. Now, we are starting to expand into some more crochet samples. This is in Bandit DK. This is the Sunday Shawl by Elia Bland. We really want to show off as we're reopening, because we've got so much space to use. Some of the beautiful ways that you can layer in crocheting into your handmade wardrobe. If you have been one of those people thinking to yourselves, I learned how to crochet as a kid, but what am I going to do? I've been knitting all this time. Crochet is a great way to get your knitting mojo back. And with these beautiful shawls that are coming out using simple stitches with great instructions, which we all know Elia is famous for.
I had earlier on the Quarantine Diaries. She's just fantastic. And and those bandit colours just work so well in that shawl.
Completely. And I mean, we are really lucky with the bandit line. Deb has planned it out so you can mix and match to your heart's content, and all of the colors go together.
Yeah.
Putting them in an order that you love, and it takes this shawl that could be so simple and just makes it fresh and bright. Now, we do have a little bit more yarn from the train. So she has dyed up some of her signature beautiful colorways for us, from foliage, which is just this gorgeous rich yellow with those beautiful pixelated speckles. We've got some of the sodalite. Now, a lot of her yarns are inspired by jewel tones. You can really see that when you look at the whole palette, if I pull back a little bit here. And this is all on her floozy base, which is a 70% merino, 20% silk, 10% cashmere, high twist, a very sumptuous feel to it. And there's no wrong colors with her yarn. They all go together in such a beautiful way. And you can really see how she's curated a palette that just flows from one side to the other. And we really love them. And we have them out here on this big dark table so you can really let the colors shine. Then we also have some of her new base, which is Staple 4, 100% superwash merino. So it's a same beautiful yarn floozy colors, but just available on a little bit more accessible of a price point on the base. So if you're looking for a great garment yarn, this would be fantastic for cardigans and shawls especially. I cannot recommend some of these colors, and we all know that I have a thing for riotous hot pink.
You and me both, darling. I think
Right?
that's, yeah, got to have the pink.
Such a classic. Oh, and some little felted chic just in case. Now, last but not least on our new yarn front, everybody,
Oh,
if you have not had a chance to
fill
work,
my heart.
right? If you have not had a chance to work with Harney Hooley's yarns and you have not entered into Julie's candy-colored wonderland of a color palette before, she has one of the most unique dyeing styles and colors palette senses I think that you see from hand dyers in New Zealand. It is like sophisticated unicorns when you see her yarn. Every color is very rich and vibrant. The bases are sublime, 50% silk, 50% merino, 2-ply construction lace weight, 700 meters in this beautiful little skein. And Julie also has great patterns available on Ravelry to use her yarns if you're not familiar with them. So
Well, she
that
has wonderful, wonderful beaded shawl patterns, which if you ever want to try beading, her patterns are perfect because they're really good starter patterns for beading. The yarn is amazing. Oh, it's just beautiful.
And the good news is we have all of the beads as well that you could ever desire. Deb has laid out a palette of the beads. We have more sitting in the back. And we also have her Silky McSilk face, which is that 100% silk, one single ply yarn. And it takes up the color with so much richness.
Yeah.
Now, you know that both Marie and I have never said no to anything containing silk in our lifetime. So you might have to fight us for these if you're coming into HQ. Like, be careful. Now, for the pièce de résistance and the purpose of my existence for the last few days has been constructing this incredible yarn wall with our friends from down at Frontal Lobe.
So I showed that to Claire this morning. I showed the photos that you guys sent me last night, and she's so jealous. She took one look at me and she went, "Oh, oh!"
Right?
It is amazing, and it is just so genius. Absolutely genius, because it allows you to actually view the yarns, see the colors all together, but
whole big span.
it's just genius, absolutely genius.
So this has been cooking up in Deb's mind for quite a while, and we played around with this idea a few times. We talked about doing, I mostly talked about doing some sort of insane zigzag situation. Shocking to no one who knows me. It was not a good idea, it turns out. But luckily, Deb's good sense reigned supreme yet again. And so instead, we have this panoramic painted wall, basically, but it's all in yarn. It's like a giant pick and mix candy store. It's perfect if you want to come and play with color. It's awesome because you can see the entire palette range from any vantage point in the store and get a really clear idea. It also gives you the freedom to come in and see our samples, which we've lined up underneath of the bases that they use, and really get an idea for how you could put those colors together to build your own projects out of our yarns. And it just gives the store a completely different feel than any other yarn store I've ever been in. And trust me, I have been to a disturbing amount of yarn stores globally. Because I'm that traveler. I think we all are, ladies and gentlemen who knit. We're all that traveler who's like, oh, where's your local yarn shop?
So I do need to ask, do you have anything currently in your wardrobe at the moment? Because I've just seen half of it as you panned around those walls.
So my wardrobe has been a little raided in order to put some samples onto the shelf.
No, snap. That was me today, because I did a thing with Libby on her wardrobe toolbox yesterday. And so I literally I purged the wardrobe, my own wardrobe, and I'm doing all the stuff there. And then I thought, oh, actually, that can go in the shop. And
Great
oh,
sample,
but
right?
that can go.
Story of our lives as people
I
in
know.
this industry. No, so about half my so normally it's half of Katie's wardrobe, as all of you may know, because she is a great sample knitter for Libby that is up in the shop. And right now it is half of my wardrobe for the first time ever that's up in the shop. But it actually leaves me with quite a few jumpers because I'm a bit of an aggressive jumper knitter, as you may or may not know.
Yes. So what's the one you're wearing?
So I am wearing Airy. This is by the lovely Isabel Kramer, who is a designer who normally does a very different sort of look. She's normally quite an oversized, wide neck designer. She loves a slouchy fit cardigan like nobody I've ever met. Now, she is a very petite human being, so I believe no matter how small you knit a garment, it will always be slightly slouchy on her. But this actually is from Lina issue number 4, that delightful, now discontinued tragically, knitting publication. That, let's face it, we all obsessively collected till the cows came home. Now, my current one is knit up in the Prohibition special edition in Applejack. But if one was hunting, now I can show you a little bit about the genius interaction of our wall. If you were curious about finding something that might match or coordinate close to something you're looking for, it's really easy because you can just come up to the wall and walk along it until you find a similar color that will give you, oh look, we found it. There it is. This is Glasshouse Bohemia Sport. Isn't that easy? Look at that color matching ability right there. Boom. And then you just pop one out from the bottom and check it against. It's not identical, but it will give you a similar look, except you'll have that soft Bohemia halo. And then when you're done with it, you just hand it back to me and I pop it right back in the top like that.
So have you got a little footstool for someone that isn't as tall as you?
We do have a step stool for the vertically challenged amongst the staff. Don't worry. We do want to make sure everyone feels welcome to refill the shop because I did it the first time and I shouldn't have to do it every time. No. No, I mean, it's a really fun way to come and play with the color, right? So if you're someone who tends to stick to one color in their wardrobe, like a certain human on camera right now, this is a really great chance because you can actually do exactly what I'm doing and selfie style walk along the wall and actually see how the color is going to look on you.
Yeah.
I know.
Such a good idea.
Works, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it means you can come over to these warm colors that I traditionally avoid, as we all know. And you can check out the fact that I actually do look good in yellow and orange. And we will never speak of this again. As far as we know, that never happened because it's not going to happen.
But it also, too, when you've got multicolor projects like the Star Blanket, which you're onto your second one at the moment, and we absolutely love it. But it just means that if you're trying to do color collections with your Star Blanket, they're all right there. And it is so much easier to be able to do it.
It is so much easier. And it really works, too, even if you're doing a slightly smaller project. So for the first time in a long time, as was pointed out to me last evening at our Wednesday night knit group, I'm actually knitting something little. I'm making some mittens. Now I'm going to have to go on a journey. So all of you are going to get to see the fact that we have cleaned and tidied the warehouse. What? Now, for those of you who don't know HQ very well, one half of us is the retail shop. The other half of HQ is where we hide all of the rest of your yarn that you don't own yet. See what I did there? This is all the yarn you could have.
Now, the other beautiful thing, too, is that if you're wanting a sweater quantity of any of those yarns on the wall, they can then just go and get a single ball and say, hey, can I have a packet of this or what have you? And then voila, here's one you prepared earlier.
Up for you. They are ready to go out the door with you the moment that you arrive at HQ. We're not going to leave anybody wanting when it comes to picking up their yarns. That is for sure.
Oh, fantastic.
So the Ethan, very unexpectedly, as you well know, I am always cold. Please see the fact that in February in Dunedin, I was wearing both a shawl and a jumper. Oh, my camera person has arrived. I was wearing both a shawl and a jumper indoors. Everyone else was like stripping off layers wildly, and I was like, "Oh, good, you're taking that off. Can I borrow it?" So naturally, I'm very cold. So I am actually making
Oh.
mittens. So this is from Making Black and White, and as you know, Making Black and White is my favorite edition they've ever released because I love black and white. If that's not clear about me, then you might not have met me before. But I'm using two of the colors that we're calling legends to make these to show you the beauty of the Bohemia Sport neutral range. So this
Bone and Erebus, is it? Or Bone and London?
Bone and Erebus.
Go me!
Marie, top marks today. So this is the Forever Mitten by Carrie Bostick Hodge. It features a bunch of really fun things. So you start off actually.
Is that a Latvian braid I see?
It is. It is a Latvian braid. Two Latvian braids.
Wow.
It starts off with this little garter stitch cuff. Then you come up into a corrugated 2x1 ribbing, which is a classic Shetland technique. Then she transitions into the Latvian braid, one in one direction, one in the other. And I'm not going to lie to you, the mittens are written so that the braids go the same way on each mitten, but that really wasn't working for me. So I reversed it so that the braids on both mittens actually point towards each other. You're welcome, everyone else with OCD at home. I am here for you, okay? So they are mirror images rather than identical mittens in my case. And I am not going to lie, for once I did not follow a pattern precisely because I have very large hands. So I actually have to add extra stitches for my thumbs. So mine have 2 more stitches, and I modified it and just did a 1x1 alternating thumb because I love the way that that looks. It's such a classic, crisp look. And the rest of the mitten is actually quite minimalist given how overall it's patterned because she's gone with this very simple circular motif with just the cross through it. And I have to say this, the mitten is provided with 2 sizes, a sport weight and a 4-ply, which never happens. There's never anything written for sport weight. So good on you, Carrie Bostick Hodge. But it actually fits an adult man's hand into a color work mitten. And I have big hands. So if any of you are mitten knitters at home, especially if some of you are watching from maybe down in the Invercargill, where it gets real chilly, good luck to all of you there. We pray for you. We'll see you come December. Before then, not so much. This is the perfect solution. They are super warm. They're incredibly easy to line as well. The reason being that you do a long tail cast on to start it off. Now, I did this over top of 2 needles held double so that you get that extra stretch. But so you don't have to bother doing a German half twisted cast on, which is just 2 more steps to a long tail cast on. But let's face it, 90% of the time we all forget halfway through and just start long tailing, right? Raise your hand if you've been there. We know no one can see the rest of you at home, but please put your hand up anyway. It makes me feel better. So the great part is if you wish to line these mittens, you don't have to weave in any ends, just tuck them in at the end and come back and you pick up that cast on chain right here on the edge. It's very easy. You can see how it makes individual loops when you're close to it. You can always come visit these in person. 22 Stanley Street in Sydenham. And they are a great feature. The pattern is also available as a standalone now. And again, it's the Forever Mitten by Carrie Bostick Hodge. Or if you are someone like me who has a whole bunch of these making magazines sitting at home and you've thought to yourself, I don't know which patterns to make, dig into them. They are, as Marie and I have discussed previously, absolutely full. Every single one features at least 5 things you're going to want to make. And if you are a sewer or a crocheter or a felter, they have projects for all of that in their beautiful pages. And you cannot beat the fabulous photography that they do as well. The art direction is great. So definitely check out the Making magazines and all the projects from it. And believe it or not, the only other thing I have on my needles is a sleeve, a very boring sleeve for a jumper, which is the exact jumper I've already shown you in the dark gray. But I'm making a second one in bone with a V-neck. And once I get to the front, I will whip that one out for you guys.
Would you like?
Whoa! But someone has turned a corner. Oh my goodness. Have you been sleeping or just knitting for the last so
No. How's that?
that is absolutely fabulous. That you I I'm
You
actually
weren't expecting that, were you?
I don't mean to damn someone with faint praise, but I have never loved a Jennifer Steingrass pattern so much. Oh my god.
I know this yarn works really well with it. And stop it. Look,
Oh,
I know.
you can wear that reversed and it would be even more beautiful. God. Now,
Yeah.
that is the Gallipoli, if I remember correctly, right? The color changing yarn? Or am I
No, this is County Effect Garden.
Carney effect? Oh my god.
Yeah.
And what are you using as the main color there?
So the main color is Southland Oatmeal,
Oh,
but you could also use Little Bandit.
yeah, that would be a great choice. Nice
Little
and
Bandit would be
sticky.
great. Yeah,
Really
it'll be
beautiful.
great. So, and I mean, I wanted to do because I mean, this started because I had these we talked about. I mean, during lockdown, you and I talked about using stuff from Stash, and this
Totally.
is something that I've had in Stash for so long. I mean, more than a decade, and I just thought I've got to use it. I just absolutely have to use it, and.
Yes.
I had two balls of it, and the first ball I did a Stephen West Spectra in it,
Oh,
and that's the perfect yarn.
the perfect, yeah,
The perfect yarn to
perfect.
do a Spectra in, because Spectra, for those that don't know, is it's a corkscrew
Yeah.
short row wedged scarf, very early Stephen West, and with it sort of, it's almost like little stained glass windows, really,
Yes.
and it corkscrews around. So this long rainbow gradient in that scarf just works
So
perfectly.
beautiful.
And then I bought two balls thinking I'd do something with both of them together. And then I've had the second ball floating around for all that time. And I'm really happy with it. I still
I
have,
love it.
yeah, so I've done one full repeat. And I mean, the color work, that's one full rainbow repeat.
Yeah.
So
Which is
that's
incredible.
perfect. And I've got one full rainbow repeat left, which will be more than enough for the color on the sleeves. And I
Yeah.
was saying on the diaries the other day, what I think I'm going to do is that, because I've chosen the rolled collar option, but what I'm
Yeah.
going to do, I think, at the base, instead of just doing the rolled base, I'm going to do an I-cord bind off in the leftover A. But don't you think?
Yes, completely. Because it will give it that beautiful drape, and I'm assuming you're going to do this a more tunicky length, if I remember from our previous discussion.
I'm still actually in two minds about the tunic length. I may just do a sort of a midi, but I
Mhm.
am doing my shaping. So
Oh, beautiful.
I've
Because
started my shaping early.
the advantage with that I cord is that it will take advantage of the shaping
Yeah,
and allow it to hang free around you because it adds so much structure to the edge of things.
it does.
I
Yeah.
have more I-cord edged things in this shop than you could shake a stick at right now.
Yeah, so at this stage, I'm still definitely thinking possibly tunic. I'm going to do this A-line anyway.
Yeah,
And
the
put the
A-line.
A-line in. And this is the nice thing, is that I can try it on as I go. Over the weekend, I'm hoping to pick up the sleeves actually and just get a bit more done on the body and get the sleeves knocked out. And then I can start figuring out what I'm going to do with my body.
I am a big fan, as you know, of taking a break after 2 or 3 inches, or for those of you living in the metric, 6 to 8 centimeters of the body done. And I love to get the sleeves knocked out.
Yeah.
I just find that it gives you a truer sense of how long you want the body to be. And it's so much easier because you're not fighting the body as you knit the sleeves,
No.
which is just such a wonderful change.
No, so I'm really, really happy with it. Now, I'm just having a quick look just for check for questions. Heather did ask me this, what I am wearing. Thank you, Jeanette. Yes, it is Chika, and I did it on Southland a bulky Heather, which is our 12 ply. So today let's head back to HQ. Today you're open between 12 and 6, is that correct?
12 and 6. We are now open from 12 till 6, Tuesday through Friday. And we are open on Saturday from 11 till 3. So lots more chances to get in and see us, which is awesome. We
Oh, that's
all of
fantastic.
you take advantage of all the extra Ethan time in your life.
Wonderful. Well, I will talk to you again, I'm sure, away from the diaries again very soon. But I will let you go because I know that in this last half hour you've got plenty to get organised before you
Us?
open those doors.
Never. No. As you know, Deb and I are world renowned for always being at least 2 days early on every deadline. So.
All right. Okay. You keep convincing yourself of that, sweetheart.
I will. I can live in an alternate universe. I'm good with it. Moved on.
Oh, awesome. Look, good luck today. And I look forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
the photos of how it goes today. Fabulous. And so anybody, again, Christchurch 22 Stanley Street in Sydenham.
Yes.
They are open. So do make sure you head down. Thanks, Ethan.
Bye, Marie. We'll see you soon, everybody.
Right. Let's jump you off there. Look. Ta-da!
Woo!
There I am. Woohoo. I'm getting used to this technology, I tell you. Wasn't that fantastic? This is the hardest thing about my job. One of the hardest things is that I get to see all these things that go on behind the scenes and I can't say anything. You know, I get to see new yarns go through the mill. I get to see things like this happen down in Christchurch and I just, and you so want to share it and you just can't. Deb has been working on this across lockdown, and I just think it looks fantastic. It really does look fantastic. And it's so good to have that extension of the range down there because it means that you've now got a local yarn store in Christchurch that you can go in and enjoy. And I think the genius that they have down there is that they are so strong in samples and design, so you can actually go and see that made up. In fact, it's something that we're trying to emulate here in terms of making sure we have more samples in the store for you guys to be able to see. And yes, and I have literally been cleaning up my wardrobe and bought in some more samples. If you come in, you'll see some more yarns there. So we are getting there. And when it comes to hours as well, I know that many of you have noticed that our hours have been a wee bit shorter. Fingers crossed, we're hoping within the next week or two that we'll be able to start at least getting Saturdays back open and extending those hours back out to 10 till 3:30 because our beautiful, adorable, wonderful Lorraine retired across the lockdown. So we've been just working on that as well. So she's living, she's got this beautiful place right by the beach and she is literally gardening and crafting up a storm and absolutely loving it. So we miss our lovely Lorraine. But I do have a few things that I want to tell you about before I head off and go and do a few bits and pieces. We have had a whole load of restocks come in and some new yarns come in. We've been on the hunt. We're trying to get as much stock in as we can because we've literally got more stock going out than we have coming in. One of the things I mentioned the other day, and I can't remember whether I did it here or I mentioned it over on I think I did do it on the diaries, is this guy here. And this is Southlander DK. Finally got the new DK labels up and running. And this is in a chocolate brown. Now, initially, I thought it was going to be our bark, which was the complete natural shade, and it's not. This is actually our bracken, which has got a slight overdye in the chocolate, but you can still, you can still get that gentle, you can't really see it on the camera, but you do actually get that sort of slight textured heathered effect coming through with it. It feels fantastic. We don't have a huge amount of this, but it goes fantastically well with our bracken and with our cream. So if you're wanting to do something like the Chaika like this, I mean, you can just you can do that absolutely beautifully. This isn't a DK though, but it is so thrilled to have that in stock. I need to take a photo of this and I will get this up this afternoon for you. So that literally, I just picked this up from the mill this morning when I was there. The other thing, before I show you some picatures that I picked up from the mill this morning, and I think they're already up and running. In Perrindale, we're finally getting those Perrindales starting to come through. Apple, clover, and fawn are up. Chatswood Somerset, which is a beautiful, rich green. So we now have 4 shades of Chatswood back, which is fabulous. So we've now got Somerset, Brighton, Windsor, and Southend, I think, are the 4 that we've got up. So that's great. So that's the range is starting to fill up there. Vintage, we're now seeing those first vintages through. Pewter and porcelain will go up this afternoon. And also in the more Albertine, Great Lakes and silver plover. So we've now got, I'm just looking over there. So by the time we add these in, that's now 6 of the Albertines are now back up and running. We were completely sold out of Albertine. So we now have the Snowfall, Bearberry, Black Cherry, Great Lakes, Silver Plover, and I think Quarry Ridge. Midnight Sun is coming, people. Midnight Sun is still definitely coming. So it's so good to have that. The other thing that we have got in as well, with my depilling conversations, a number of you have been asking about depillers. We have got more of the fabric shavers, the electric plug-in fabric shavers coming. They've been ordered and paid for. We're just waiting for them to arrive. But the other thing that we have got that I have talked about is the sweater stones. So we've just got these in from the US. These are what I was talking about. They're a pumice, synthetic pumice-based block. These stones work fantastically well on yarns that have not been treated. So yarns like the Southlander, anything, actually these on Bohemia Sport or Bohemia Worsted are brilliant, because you just give them a light slough over the pearls and it basically picks them up, and you just whip them away, and they don't actually cut the fiber, they actually pull those pearls out away from the fabric. I've got both my, what I call my little buzz machine and these, and they really do work well. So these are going up. Claire's literally, as I speak, in there madly getting loaded with all of these. So you'll be looking at I think we're just pricing, they'll be around $18 each. So I will give you a holler as soon as they go up. So really excited about that. The other thing that we've gotten in as well, wooden needles. We had some of these, we threw these up just on lockdown, and these are made from hardened bamboo. Some people like to have a good wooden needle, nice sharp tips on them. We have now got full stocks of these. So for those who are looking just for a nice, really reasonably priced needle, we've now got those loaded up as well, and a full range of sizes. So they are now on the website. Knit Pro's looking nice and healthy. Their big container arrived, so that's all up. Cables, tips, hooks, the whole works burger there. So we're sort of finally starting to get some normalization happening, which is really, really great. The other thing I posted up yesterday, you may have seen. What did I do it this morning? Yesterday it was. My good friend, the beautiful, wonderful, adorable Charles Gandy, just put out a new design yesterday, and he sent me a free copy of it because it is knitted in the County effect button, which is this one here. And he thought, well, if you're knitting this, Marie, you might love this. And it's just called the Shaded Lines Shawl, and he designed it using County and using a couple of balls of County. And the whole trick with it is that he's done it where you work from the inside and the outside of the ball at the same time. Now, we don't, as I have mentioned before, we don't stock County, but our very good friends at Yarns do. However, I love this shawl because there's nothing like a stripe. You know, stripes are classic, and they're wonderful, rich, bold, contrasty stripes. It's a really beautifully shaped triangular shawl, and as you can see from the pattern here, if I pop this up to the camera, hopefully you can see that. You can actually wear it a number of ways, and it's a really great shawl if you're a bit of a beginner and you're wanting to try something else. So you don't have to knit this in stripes if you do not want to. You can actually play around with self-striping yarns or some really fun yarns and get them to do the job for you. So it's worked on a 4-ply or sock-based yarn. You're looking at around 400 meters is what you need for the entire shawl. And on 3.75 millimeter needle. Now, that's why I wanted to talk to you. This is where opal comes in. So opal is, we have just gotten, literally just landed yesterday, a huge big shipment of opal. And we've got I'm just going to show you a variety of shades from in this. We've got 3 different ranges. We've got one called the History Collection, which I actually haven't showed you. I've been a bit naughty, which is on the shelf as we speak. They're very soft muted tones. Then we've got this really cute range here called Fairy Tale, really bright, whimsical, and as you can see, sort of self-striping styles. But the beautiful thing is when you work in a triangular shawl like that, especially in garter stitch, you get these really wonderful, crazy things happening with the color as you work the shawl from tip to tip. It's just brilliant. It's so much fun. So we've got that. And then if you want something a little bit special with a wee bit of sparkle, we've got this one called Magic Sky, which, as you can see, has got the wee sparkles in it. Now, if you love the stripes, fear not, we have you covered. Because you could grab a ball of Skeinz sock, voila, and actually stripe the 2 of them together. So instead of working from the inside and the outside of the ball, as Charles mentioned, you can actually stripe and do both. And one of the things you can do is before you get to the halfway point to actually do your reductions, you can actually keep going and then make a much, much bigger shawl if you choose to. Or if you get a ball of each, essentially 2 balls will make 2 shawls. So that one there is sort of the green with the black. But the nice thing is our Skeinz sock are all quite solid colours, and they will pretty much mix and match. There'll be a combination in there with the opals that you'll be able to mix and match across. If you follow the Stephen B guide to colour, whatever you do, as he says, is don't make it match. Try and look for really crazy contrasting colours. And actually, to be honest, he's quite right, particularly if you're wanting to create those stripes. And that's why I've actually pulled this black out. That's where black is perfect, because black will give you a boldness wherever you go. And see, look at those 2 together. You know that they're going to work. Here's another 2 there. You know that that's actually going to work. Or that. Or, oopsie, that. Don't be afraid. Be fearless. Don't be afraid to play around with those colours when it comes to doing that pattern. I'm also going to send out a newsletter today. It's going to be quite a meaty one. I will have what we've had with the restocks, what you can actually find and get out, which is great, of all the bits and pieces that we have. And I'll also pop in a link as well to those patterns in here and over on the YouTube once I'm done for that pattern of Charles's. So loads of fun. I'm really excited about that. Really excited for Deb and Ethan at Outlaw. And remember, we do have all the Outlaw yarns here. So if you can't get in to see them down at Outlaw HQ in Christchurch, you can pop in and see all your favourite Outlaw yarns here with us at Skeinz. And you, of course, you can purchase them down at skeinz.com. Until then, it is absolutely frigid here today. It's grey and it's miserable, and we've got a whole weekend planned with it. It's just like, it's dreadful. I'm going to check the comments before I head off. Margot's saying she loves Latvian braids. Actually, Margot, to Suzanne, has she got a tutorial on Latvian braids? I know that Nanette from Yarns, she has taught Latvian braids at Knit August Nights. It is such a neat technique. It's one of those, so those were on the mittens that you saw with Ethan with the braids around that. They're just such a neat way to add just a highlight. It's just beautiful. Right. Do you have replacement blades for the shavers? Oh, we can get replacement blades for the shavers, Jeanette. I will talk to Claire and we will actually get some ordered down. So the answer to that is yes, I do know they sell replacement blades. So I can, and if that's the fabric shaver, I can get onto that. Oh, yes, to the blades from Bev. Right, I will run and get some of those across as well for everybody. Right, well, I hope you have a wonderful weekend this weekend, wherever you are. I will be back here again on Monday, and I will see you then. Hopefully we get plenty of knitting done. I have got a household of my youngest son. It was his birthday across lockdown, and he had this huge big party planned and everything that he wanted to do, which of course didn't happen. So we've now broken this down to a series of mini sleepovers. The first of which, the first of which is going to be this weekend. So I have a house full of 12 and 13-year-olds, little boys, for the weekend. Believe me, there will be much knitting done. I'll need to. Anyway, take care. I will see you again on Monday, and enjoy your knitting across the weekend. Stay warm, stay dry, have fun.